Hello everybody, how are you? Haven't done one of these videos in a while as I've been off on my holidays. But whilst I've been away, my brain has been ticking over lots of ideas and lots of thoughts about things I want to talk to you all about. So I'm going to address one right away that actually comes up a lot. So quite often when I have a new client or I'm just chatting to someone that I've been working with, they'll say to me, why don't you do YouTube tutorial videos? Or someone will come in and say, well, I looked you up on YouTube and I couldn't see anything. Why is that? Or when are we going to see you on YouTube? You know, you should totally do this on YouTube. And I don't generally get into explaining why I don't want to do that. But someone else asked me the other day, and also I had some conversations with a friend in a similar field this week whilst I've been off, and I thought, okay, the time is now. I am ready to explain why I don't do YouTube tutorial videos. So I'll start by saying I've got nothing against YouTube tutorial videos. I've been known to look at a few from time to time. I've definitely learned a few things on piano on YouTube, and I've definitely referred some of my clients to certain videos that I think explain things quite well before. So I've got nothing, I'm not kind of like anti-YouTube tutorial videos, and of course I'm talking about singing here. But this is why I don't personally do them and why I don't have any intention to start doing them in the near future. And this kind of also involves, doesn't have to be YouTube, but any kind of like vlog that is a how to sing high notes or something like that. Any kind of video that is kind of telling you how to technically do something when it comes to singing. So I've written myself a little list because I don't want to miss any of these points out because I think they're quite important. So, okay, first one is let's compare it to driving for a second. Let's compare singing to driving, or learning to change the way you sing or to develop your technical skills in singing. Let's compare that to learning to drive for a second. And this is apt because I was spending time with one of my oldest friends the other day, and she's a driving instructor, and we had loads of crossover in things that we were chatting about. So I've also just bought my first car. So let's, I'm very excited about that. I'm terrified. So let's kind of compare it to driving. So first of all, when we're learning to drive, we're learning how to operate a man-made, man-designed, person-made piece of equipment that is entirely separate from us as humans. So it's something that people have designed and gone, oh, let's call this bit a steering wheel, let's call this bit whatever. You know, all of these names and all the mechanisms behind them are created and designed by people. Whereas in singing, we're actually playing the human body. We're using our bodies to make sound, and that is something that exists. And I'm not going to get into any kind of philosophy behind that because, you know, that is not a topic for today. But what we're doing is trying to operate ourselves in a certain way. So first of all, we don't have enough distance from ourselves to be able to go, oh, I just need to move my vocal cords in a certain way, and we don't have that distance. We're too close to our instrument to be able to do that. And also, with it being part of who we are, every scientist on the planet, every vocal coach, every singer, anyone that's kind of interested in how the voice works is a human. And there is no one on this planet that is able to research how the voice works that isn't a human. So there's a level of bias there. There's also a level of mystery. We don't know how the voice works entirely. So it's really an area, a field of science. Hi Lee, see you in a bit. It's definitely an area of science that we're always going to be trying to understand. It surprises me when I speak to a singer and they go, oh, I thought like we knew how the voice worked and that there was kind of hard and fast rules about how it works. There are certain theories that we have that we really believe are accurate and helpful, but nobody fully understands it. And I think especially in science, scientists are always trying to prove themselves wrong in order to elevate themselves to the next level of knowledge. So we don't really know how it works. So it's not the same as driving a car, because humans designed the car. They know exactly how it works. Our bodies, not so much. Very difficult to see how a body works on a live human being, to get in there and see what's going on. Very difficult. So it's not as simple as going, right, you just need to vibrate your vocal folds and put it into first gear. You know what I mean? It's really much more complicated than that. So the second reason why I am not likely to do any YouTube tutorial videos or vlogs around vocal technique in the near future is that we're in an age where everybody wants a quick fix. And I do too, I'm not lying. The amount of articles and blogs online at the moment that are like 5 top tips to singing success. Or I mean, I run my own business, so I do read these, you know, so I read articles like 5 ways to get new clients, 5 ways to, you know, earn £1 million, whatever. I read them. Am I a millionaire yet? No, because quick fixes don't work. We know this. We can develop more insight and we can use them to kind of generate new ideas. But we know, I think we all know when we're honest with ourselves, that quick fixes don't generally work unless we're at a high level already, you know. So I don't really want to play into that quick fix mentality because it just doesn't go with how I view the world and the way I work. So I'm not going to play into that by making a kind of quick fix. Also, I think that when we are giving like top tips and quick fix videos, what we have to do is really simplify things down in order to kind of make a point and give any information at all. And we have to go, right, well, here's this concept, how can we put it into a 5-minute video? And in doing that, we have to miss out a lot of detail, and where do we draw the line as to which bits are important, which bits aren't. So again, I don't really want to do that. I'm all about honesty and transparency. So this is my third point, actually. So for me, anyone who's worked with me will know that if I don't understand something or I don't know how a certain element of the voice, or I'm confused about what's going on with someone's technique, I will say, you know, I don't know, I'm going to research that. I'm always turning around and scribbling on post-it notes and going, I'm going to look that up. I don't know. And I'm all about that honesty and transparency. And so therefore, I'm not really willing to condense things down enough to put in a YouTube tutorial and miss out details and kind of decide which bits are important and aren't. So I think that if I did do that, I think I would come across quite vague. I'd be like, well, you know, maybe this happens, or, you know, I don't think I would come across very well if I were to do that. I think there are other people who think differently than I do, and they are probably quite good at them. But I personally don't think I would come across that well. I haven't included in my list of things that I wanted to say, but I'm going to say this anyway. Singing is a motor skill. It requires kinesthetic learning, which means your brain needs to learn to talk to bits of your body better or differently to how it does. And can you learn that from watching a video, or do you need to actually be doing it? I know that YouTube videos often, you know, they have exercises for you to do, but how do you know you're accurately doing it if you've just learned it by watching somebody else? Actually, this does tie in with my next point. So I pride myself upon having a highly individualized approach in my work. Hi, Stuart. So I wouldn't be able to do that if I was doing tutorial videos. So just to give you an idea, I would need to see what a person's already doing and go, right, okay, this is where we're at now. This is where you want to go. This is what you want to achieve. And this is the exercise that I believe will work. And I don't necessarily know if it will work until I've seen the person do it and they've tried it on. It's like going shopping, it's like, trying clothes on. You can look at something on a hanger and go, oh, yeah, I think this will suit me, or I think this will suit you. But until you've put it on, you don't really know. So I kind of, again, I don't know how well I'd be able to incorporate that into a YouTube video. I'd be like, well, this might work for you, it might not, though, you're gonna have to try it. And I think it would come across quite badly. And it just wouldn't be being true to myself, and I'm all about that. So where am I up to? Oh yeah, so this links nicely to driving as well. So let's go back to that. And I am not a very experienced driver at all. In fact, I've never driven in a car on my own yet. So bear with my vague, analogy. Oh, Amanda and Joe are now here. Cool. Hi, everybody. So if just say I was a driving instructor, thank God I'm not. And so I said, okay, so what should I do when I approach a junction? Okay, I can't answer that question without knowing which junction it is. I don't know how fast you're going, what gear you're already in. Is there anybody else on the road? There are so many variables that that it's kind of difficult to answer that question. It needs to be so much more individualized and specific than I could really be able to cover in a YouTube video, I feel. So I work in a highly individualized way. I work off of where you're already at, what's going on in your voice, where you want to go with it, and then we need to try on a few methods and see which works for you. I can guess which might work for you, but I don't want to guess, I want to be right. So, I wouldn't really feel confident doing a YouTube tutorial or a tech how-to vlog, because it would be missing out so much detail that I think is important. Stuart said something. YouTube helps with how-to, but you need to do to make it work and keep doing to get better and improve. I agree with that, but I also think that you can do the exercises that are being presented to you on a YouTube video, but you might not be quite doing it right, or it might not be the right exercise for you. So you can do and do and do and do, but it doesn't mean you're going to make any progress because you haven't had that individualized, tailored method given to you. Where are we up to? So I read about this theory recently. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't know loads about it, apart from I've read a couple of studies. But look it up. Basically, what it says is that when we're first starting out at learning a skill, we tend to underestimate how difficult it's going to be. We all do it probably in everything. So my friend who's a driving instructor, she has told me that people go, oh, I'm just going to need a couple of lessons and then I'll book the test. And that's because they haven't started yet and they haven't had the chance to really know what level they're at, and they've got a slightly naive idea of how hard it's going to be. And this is human nature. It's not criticism and it's not specific to anybody, but we all do this. When we're first starting out learning a skill, we tend to underestimate how hard it's going to be. And knowing that, I don't really want to put out a YouTube video or a vlog that says, this is all you need to be able to hit the high notes, because it feels dishonest to me. And again, I don't think I would come off that well doing that, because I'd be going, well, it depends what level you're at, and if you do it right, and if you know what I mean, it's far too vague and not entirely honest and not giving the bigger picture for my liking. So if you think about this, for example, who watches Grand Designs? I love Grand Design, it's cool. But they always start out with a certain, Martin's got his thumb up. Hi, Martin. And Joe's here too. Morning, coach. Hi, Martin. Grand Designs. So people always start out with these grand designs, these big ideas of what they're going to do and how much it's going to cost and how quickly they're going to do it. And they very, very rarely, it doesn't go to plan. They always go over budget. They always almost get divorced partway through, and they end up living in a tent in the middle of winter, and it's horrendous, And that's because they haven't generally been through it before. They've got all the passion that you need, and they've got, you know, great ideas, but they don't have the experience to know just how long it's going to take, just how hard it's going to be, and to anticipate the roadblocks that they're probably going to come across, as we all do. So that kind of makes me think of this Dunning-Kruger effect. When we're starting out, when we're a beginner at something, we underestimate how hard it's going to be. Again, I think that relates to people on X Factor, the people that we see who end up being the bloopers and the ones that everybody laughs at. It's quite mean. Because they're people who want to sing and who, you know, feel like they watch probably X Factor and go, I could do that. But being beginners, they kind of underestimate how hard it's going to be, and kind of also overestimate how good they already are. So knowing this, I don't want to play into that further by going, this is all you need to be able to smash those high notes, you know, or whatever, you know, get rid of vocal tension, because it's actually not as simple as watching a video. Yeah, there are tips that can be given, there are tidbits of advice that you might take, but it doesn't play into the way I work and the way I see the world. Stuart said something else and I didn't read it. Let me read it now. I used YouTube to teach myself how to tie a bow tie. That's cool. But I had to do it as well to gain the knowledge and try over and over again to get perfect. Yeah. And the thing about the bow tie thing is that it's separate from you, remember? So it's like the analogy I used about driving, is that that's a piece of, let's call it equipment, that was created by humans. So we know, we've used our own knowledge to kind of go, this is how we're going to make this thing called a bow tie. Whereas that's not what happens with the human body. We're working with stuff that's all internal, and we've got there's complications that come from the fact that it's us as well. So our self-awareness gets in the way of it too. So I think it might be useful for stuff like tying a bow tie, and maybe even learning the piano, because it's something you can see. But when it comes to learning how to use your body a certain way, it's a lot more complicated, and it leaves a lot to be desired. Where am I up to? Dunning-Kruger effect, that's what we just talked about. I don't want to play into the Dunning-Kruger effect. Okay, so, and here is the final one, is I meet a lot of singers who come in for sessions with me, and they will say, well, I've been doing this exercise on YouTube for the last 6 months, or I have a warm-up routine that I got from YouTube, but I don't know why I'm still not getting anywhere, or I'm still, you know, really tense, or this note's still really high. So there's a lot of stuff out there, but the reason why a lot of the time people aren't making much progress from watching these videos is that, how do they know that that exercise is what they need and suited to their voice? Most of the time it's not, I'll be honest. They'll say, oh, I've been doing this exercise, and I'll go, yeah, that is good at eliminating tension, but your tension is caused by X, Y, and Z, and I can't know that without performing an analysis and assessment of what's going on in their voice now. So it's like, yeah, that would work on someone with that kind of tension, but you've got this kind of tension, so you've spent the last 6 months doing exercises to release the wrong kind of tension. So top marks for effort, but you've been putting your effort in the wrong place for this last 6 months. And what a waste of time that is. You know, it's really, really disappointing for people. And the thing is that change can happen quite quickly. I mean, with singing and getting really good, it does take a long time. But if you find the right conditions, the right exercise, the right kind of, if you have the right commitment to doing that exercise, you have the right mindset, change can happen faster than you might think, but everything has to line up and be the right conditions for you. And a YouTube video or a vlog can't do that. I think there are probably some very lucky people who do kind of meet all the factors that are discussed in a video, but I'm not one of them. I've never been able to watch one and go, oh yeah, I'm going to do that now. And I'm at a point where I kind of understand a lot of it already. So, you know, why don't you speed the process up by just like booking a lesson and spending the money and getting the right exercises for your voice from the word go. Why would you waste your time watching a YouTube video, banging your head against a brick wall, and potentially either wasting time or creating the opposite, creating habits that are actually making it worse? And how can you know whether you're doing that if you're fairly early in your journey? You know, and I'm talking about developing solid technique here. I'm not talking about singing, because, you know, there are plenty of people who are out there singing and they sound great and they're busy and gigging. But I'm talking about things like eliminating tension and increasing range and power. You know, why would you spend 6 months practicing exercises off a YouTube video when potentially they aren't even the right ones for you, you know? So those are my thoughts about why I have no intention in the near future of doing any kind of tutorial videos when it comes to the voice. I love vocal technique, and sometimes I go, oh, all my live videos are about kind of mindset and things like that. And that's because they're much easier for me to discuss, and I kind of, and because it's a lot more general, or at least my knowledge of it is a lot more general. My vocal technique knowledge is a lot more specific and individualized, and the more experienced I get, the less willing I am to pretend that I can give general advice and that it will work. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to give you the tips that will actually work for you. I'm not interested in oversimplifying anything. I wish I could. I'd make loads of money. I'd have books. I'd be doing the vlogs and stuff like that. But I'm not at a point yet where I know how to kind of put that across. So let me see. Stuart has said something else. I want to improve pronunciation and clarity in public speaking at ceremonies. Can you help, Gemma? No. Sorry, I'm a singing specialist. I would suggest go and see a speech-related person. I don't do speech. It's not the same, and it doesn't interest me as much. Well, it doesn't really interest me at all. So singing is my thing. And I would recommend something to you, except I don't really know anybody. Have a Google and see what you come up with. So does anybody, we've got 6 people watching. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything whilst we're here? I'm going to give it 5 to 10 seconds. Oh, there you got one of me singing there. No, cool. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I didn't expect to get so many listeners at this time of day on a Monday. Oh, Martin, it's understandable that people want a quick fix tip or technique. Yep, it is. It is understandable. I want them too, but I'm not going to give you them. Not in the in a public public. What do you call it? Public. I want to say vein. That's not the right word. Public. Not in public. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Mastery takes time and effort, and I think deep down we all know that, don't we? And I think people know that getting really, really good at something takes time and effort. And but for some reason we still go looking for the quick fixes. I do it too. I definitely spend a lot of time reading blog articles and stuff looking for quick fixes. And that's a weakness of mine. But when it comes to voice technique, I'm not going to offer those. You know, I'm going to give people proper, in-depth, individualized things that are actually going to work. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Oh, Stuart, love you, Gemma. Brilliant insights again. Good to know. Cool. Well, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you all for coming. I've put a link above, actually. Book a session with me. Here's a link to my online booking system. So if any of you would like to book a session with me, that would be awesome, especially for those of you who haven't met before. Oh, Martin, having someone to work with you as an individual will help you progress with more focus and things that work for you. Totally. Yeah, and it's an investment that is worth making, in my opinion. And the great thing about it is that if you work with someone who's good and knows what they're doing and can give you individualized things, actually you can make much more progress than you will probably even be able to imagine at this point. So it's totally worth it. Great. Kenneth Wood Bozeman, my absolute Idol has just joined just as I'm about to finish, which is probably good because I probably have got stage fright otherwise. He's written a couple of books. One of them is in my bag as we speak, about vocal acoustics. It's really good and really makes my brain go like that. But it's something that I'm reading at the moment and is challenging me a lot. And he will probably be able to reiterate that it's very difficult to, simplify things without actually also risking losing integrity at the same time. So I'm really going to go this time, but like I said, link is above to book a session with me. Feel free to message or email me if you have any questions. I'm not going to give you any quick fix answers though, because it's not my style. There are plenty of people out there who probably will, so go and ask somebody else. And I'm really, really going to go because now my Mac is telling me that it's going to die. So speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.